Let's move now to
waiver
wire.
For the running backs. A huge week for the running backs on the waiver wire. And, who better to start with than Jamal Williams, of course, unfortunately due to the DeAndre Swift injury. But Jamal Williams was flagged for a touchdown dance on Sunday. Let's hear what he thought about the penalty.
Right. There's a lot of hips thrusting.
Yes,
what it was.
Plenty. Not thrusting. Waving.
Interesting.
Hip waving,
This is Jamal Williams after the game.
Man, I've been doing that forever. That's why I was tripping. I thought it was a holding call or something. I'm like, did they just flag me for doing the dance that I've been doing forever? Literally forever. Before Key and Peele, before all the little hips, almost cuss. Before all the hip stuff, I've been doing this forever. So now my stuff is correlated to nothing against them, But that's my hips, It's not even thrusting. It's more like a wave, Thrusting is, yeah. Mine is a wave. That's how I should get away with it. And I've been getting away with it all these years. But now they want to bust me for it. I was pissed.
Look at this. You see video of it right now. It is. That's more of a wave. I mean, admittedly, if I did that in the halls of NBC, HR might have a question for me.
More than a flag.
It would be more than a flag.
Yeah.
I might get
maybe a fine.
Right. I don't think I could get away with a wave, but I don't have the kind of moves that Jamal Williams does. I would just look like an old man.
It's a wave.
Not
a thrust.
Like if I was just, anyway. What's interesting is I was just trying to do it here for a second, and my chest, suddenly I'm all chest, because I wanted to I was trying to
Oh boy.
I'm just no, but it's awkward, right? It's hard.
Yeah.
Suddenly now I'm like the Three Amigos all the time.
Yeah, you're hula hooping.
It is. You're
Yeah.
hula hooping a little bit.
Yes.
It's hard to do. Give
the man his credit.
There you go.
It's not worth a penalty.
It's not worth a penalty. But here's what Jamal Williams is doing. He's absolutely crushing. Through 3 weeks, he's the 8th best running back in fantasy. They trust him in the goal line. I mean, the thing about Jamal Williams is he's always been a good running back.
Yes.
He was stuck behind Aaron Jones in Green Bay. He's been stuck behind DeAndre Swift in Detroit. But, he's a talented running back. We've talked about this. He has always been fantasy productive. Over the course of his career, when he's gotten the start in Green Bay, when he's gotten the start in Detroit, he's a guy that has been able to do it. So you think about week 3, limited touches for DeAndre Swift, who's not 100% healthy, 22 for 107 and 2 touchdowns in terms of total touches. Listen, he shouldn't be available in your league. He's available in about 40% of Yahoo leagues, probably about 40% of ESPN leagues as well. It's whatever, old habits die hard. But the truth of the matter is if Jamal Williams is available in your league, you need a better league. But
yeah, not a lot of people paying attention.
But he's out there. I don't know how he's available in 39% of Yahoo leagues, but he is. So if for some reason he is available, he is the number 1 waiver pick, because even if DeAndre Swift comes back, it is clear Jamal Williams has complete standalone value. But if Swift were to miss any time, and there's some concern about that, right, at this point, then yes, I mean, Williams is a top 10 running back as well. Just want to mention real quickly, best friends with our researcher Blake Friedman, Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds, Detroit Lions running back, who had kind of a nice little run towards the end of last year, should see, again, if Swift misses time, Reynolds will take, because they're not going to give it all to Jamal Williams.
They're a run-heavy team.
It's a run-heavy team. It's a good offensive line. So if those are in deeper leagues, 14-team and deeper, I do think Craig Reynolds merits maybe a mention here. Same thing. This is another one that's shocking to me, Connor. How is Alexander Mattison 45% available?
And it's every year he's impactful. Every year. There's 3 weeks a year he can win you your week. It doesn't make any sense. Explain it.
Well, I can't.
I want answers.
People are in bad leagues.
Yes.
People are in bad leagues. Okay. He's 45% available, Alexander Mattison. Dalvin Cook, 2 things we know. Death, taxes, here's 2 other things we know. Dalvin Cook can't stay healthy. He's literally never played every game in an NFL season in his career. He never has.
Yep.
Super talented, but he never has played every game in an NFL career. And that when Alexander Mattison gets work, he's productive. He's insanely productive. He had 4 starts last year. He averaged 26 touches a game in those 26 touches a game in those games that he started. 21.7 fantasy points per game in the 4 starts last year. Dalvin Cook is 100% rostered. How is Alexander Mattison not 100% rostered? Because if you have Dalvin Cook, knowing what investment you made in Dalvin Cook, and knowing that he doesn't play every game. Anyway,
he's the Rolls Royce of handcuffs.
Of insurance running backs,
yes.
There's no question about it. Alexander Mattison needs to be rostered. They're playing London. They're playing in London. Cheerio, my friends, against the Saints this week. Get yourself some Alexander Mattison, because there's talk that he's going to play through. He's going to wear the harness again. He's going to play through. We'll see. But again, it's just a reminder that if Dalvin Cook misses, you want yourself some Alexander Mattison. A guy that should have been rostered. He is available in more than 51% of leagues. But I want to move on to Khalil Herbert.
You've been saying this one for a couple weeks now.
Connor, you have as well. I don't know what his profile was out of college.
Yeah.
Felt like he sort of came out of nowhere.
Well, I'll tell you this with Khalil Herbert. He's been productive since his last year of college. He was a late breakout. That was the thing with him. So then he becomes a late draft pick. The number that stands out to me with him is this week, and this is what he does. Over 84% of his yards came after contact. This is somebody that even behind a questionable offensive line creates his own yards over and over again.
Questionable is the nicest thing anyone's ever said about the Bears offensive line.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's bad.
It's not so good, and yet Khalil Herbert is really good. 169 total yards, 2 touchdowns on 22 touches last week against the Texans. That's more yards than David Montgomery has ever had in a single game in his career. He had 2 starts last year, averaged 18.8 fantasy points per game, and the kid can play. And one of the reasons why I and I think other people were down on David Montgomery coming into the season. We're like, look, this is a new regime under Matt Eberflus and his staff, right? They have no loyalty to David Montgomery, and they're sitting there going like, hey, we're trying to win games for Chicago, and we're looking around at what we got, and like, this kid can play. Khalil Herbert can play, and we're not saying that David Montgomery can't, but Herbert can play. He deserves snaps, and he deserves. So the concern was that Montgomery might be in a timeshare with Khalil Herbert, and so Herbert was a popular insurance back. He's been picked up a decent amount, and certainly, look, there's a chance that Montgomery misses some time as well. And so, we're doing this on a Tuesday as news is starting to roll in. But what I would say here is that Herbert has earned a larger share of this backfield, and certainly, if Montgomery misses time, also a top 10 running back.
And there's a theme with the last 3 guys we've gone over, with Swift, Cook, and now David Montgomery. They have wear and tear every single
year.
So even if their coaches are saying, hey, it's day to day, it's week to week, this is something that can come back instantly as soon as they return. Their backups they're extremely valuable, all of them.
Yeah. And I think it just depends on where you are in terms of your league, your season. Are you like, hey, you've had some injuries, I got to find a guy to start this week? Or are you like, you know what, I can draft for some depth. So if you feel like you're like all these guys, again, potentially based on the availability of DeAndre Swift, Dalvin Cook, and David Montgomery, could be huge. But if all 3 of those guys, if Cook, Montgomery, and Swift are all active this week, then these guys are all like, in the case of Jamal Williams, a flex play. Herbert and Madison, maybe not. Herbert might be a viable flex play. We'll see the reports we get in. But my point is those are big upside plays for at some point in the season when, if there is an injury or they get more opportunity, they could explode. The next guys we're going to talk about, these are just like, they're fine. These are like, I got to plug a hole.
Yeah,
Barry, I'm desperate.
Throws.
Like I'm in a deeper league. I need a flex play.
A league paying attention to the world.
I just need a live body. Just give me somebody with a pulse that can get me something at the running back position, and that's what these guys are.
Your Commanders.
Yeah.
J.D. McKissic, your Commanders, available in 74% of leagues, so he's out there in most of them. And he's pretty much steady Eddie, 10 points a week because he catches the football and he gets enough targets.
13 catches over his last 2 games, 9 targets in week 3. As the Commanders are trailing, they like him in 3-minute. They like him in passing down situations. And given how poorly the Commanders' defense has played so far this year, they're going to be in that situation a lot. Now, they played Dallas, which is a slow-moving offense on Sunday, but still, McKissic is playing a decent amount of snaps until Brian Robinson comes back. And it is worth mentioning that is also a guy, like in a deeper league, grab and stash because he can come back in week 5. But yeah, otherwise, McKissic, to me, is just, like he's a viable flex play. He's somebody that, right, there's limited upside there with McKissic, but there's also a nice floor of hey, I need a body at running back. That is J.D. McKissic.
Yeah,
he qualifies at running back.
If you need 10 points in your flex spot, especially this week, we'll get into that. We'll cross that bridge when we get there when Brian Robinson returns, how that backfield's going to shake out. That's going to be very interesting.
Very interesting. But anyway, for this week against the Cowboys, I think he's a viable flex. He was running back 17 this past week. Again, in games in which we expect the Commanders to have to throw a lot because they'll be down, which we expected against the Eagles, he is viable.
All right, looking over at Cincinnati, Samaje Perine, 94% availability right now. Joe Mixon did not finish this game with the sore ankle. They were up 2 scores against the Jets, and they were just run. Perine looked good, 12 touches, 61 yards, and the touchdown, as once again, Mixon was out. That's the key. We know they're going to force feed Mixon. But Perine is available in almost every league. Is there any urge there to pick him up and stash him?
Potentially. Again, sort of what we're talking about here with Mattison or with Herbert, with Jamal Williams. Like, if you're the starting running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, you're going to have value. And it is going to be Samaje Perine if anything were to happen to Joe Mixon. You mentioned leaving the fourth quarter, only playing like whatever it was, the 2 snaps in the fourth quarter. They're the Thursday night game. They're playing the Miami Dolphins on Thursday night. So that's a quick turnaround for a guy that's so important to them. Now, all the reports out of Cincinnati right now are like, no, he's going to be fine. He's going to play. And Mixon's a very tough guy. But with a short turnaround, it's just worth noting again, like we see this every year, when there are productive running, there aren't a lot of them, but when you know who the backup is, it's a very small sort of subset here, but when you know, like, okay, if this productive fantasy starting running back goes down, we know exactly who the backup would be, and we think that person would be productive. In those scenarios, all those running backs need to be rostered. And that's the case with Jamal Williams. It's the case with Alexander Mattison, Khalil Herbert. And it's the case with Samaje Perine. He would be the guy. You'd see some Chris Evans mixed in on third down. But it would be Samaje Perine who would be the starting running back of the Cincinnati Bengals. He scored the receiving touchdown last week. 12 touches for 61 and the score. Perine's a nice player. They like him a lot. They probably used him too much in the Super Bowl last year. The Bengals probably regret that. But they used him throughout on third down all last year. Zach Taylor likes him, so Perine would be the guy. I think he should be rostered in 100% of leagues because Joe Mixon is rostered in 100% of leagues. Again, there's so few running backs out there that are productive. If you know you can grab the backup of your star, then I think it's interesting. Now, again, like that's not always the case. Like with Derrick Henry, is it Dontrell Hilliard? Is it Hassan Hawkins? There's other running backs that if they went down, you're not really sure who the guy would be. But in this particular case, we know who it would be. One last guy I just want to mention real quickly is Tyler Algier. He's playing the Browns this week. He's played 2 games in which he's been active. He's gotten 17 touches. Cordell Patterson's on the wrong side of 30, and now he had a resurgence again last week in Seattle. Huge game for him. But feels like they want to get Algier more involved, and they don't want Patterson to touch the ball as much as he has been recently.
Yeah, and the thing is with Algier, just a goal line monster at this point. They love him down at the goal line. So that's going to be his value. But once again, the Falcons offense, we need to actually see it humming full force. Kyle Pitts freed, by the way.
Yep. You were welcome, America. Thank God. Thank God Kyle Pitts is free. But again, they're still figuring out that Falcons offense. So Algier is an interesting stash. Also, we'll see what happens when Damian Williams comes back. He was the starting running back at the start of and then he got hurt like 10 touches in. But Algier is sort of an interesting name to keep for deeper leagues as well, as we see that Falcons backfield get a little bit more clarity as well. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.